Vibe and Shine, the podcast where prosperity meets personal growth. I'm Krista. I support ADHD mamas and help them work with their brains, not against them.
And I'm Jessica. I'm your growth-minded guide who helps you align with the most inspired and intentional version of yourself in life and business.
So in each episode, we'll dive into mindset shifts, strategies, and business insights that fuel success, while also keeping alignment and well-being at the center. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or someone on a journey of self-discovery, this is your space to grow, thrive, and create a life by design. So today we are so excited to welcome our first guest, Jessica Catlin. Jessica is a death doula, an end-of-life educator, and the owner of Cultivated Comfort. So let's dive right into the conversation.
So, Jessica, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so are we. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what brought you into where you are now.
Yeah, so I'm an end-of-life educator and death doula, and what that means is I'm another layer of your end-of-life support, a non-medical person that can help you explore your own mortality, end-of-life wishes, your advanced care planning, kind of be a buffer for those perhaps difficult family conversations. And importantly, I can also help people die at home, which is majority of the country would like to do that versus a hospital setting.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm just like full of
super
questions.
Exciting. Yeah. So, well, first and foremost, like that's a very intimate kind of career to have. And not your only career, obviously, but what inspired you to do that in the first place?
Yeah. So, with going back in my mind, initially when I got into this, I was like, why am I doing this? But now I've been able to find the source, and the source is my grandmother. Mm-hmm. She was very much into family history, family genealogy, and tradition, and she would take my sister and I around in the back of her van when we were really young and didn't know it was weird. We would pack a picnic and go to cemeteries and picnic on my family's gravestones, and we would tell stories. We would look at photos, even people she perhaps didn't even meet. And it was really special time with my grandmother, but it really built my relationship up with death. And my grandmother got diagnosed with brain cancer at 54. She died about 3 months later, but within that time, she died her way. She didn't shy away from it. She took my sister and I through all of her possessions and belongings, and we picked out which rings we wanted. We put on her wedding dress and took photos of being in it. She told us stories about how she met her grandfather, things that we wouldn't have known perhaps otherwise or have done. And, she knew she wanted to die at home and that it was going to be fast. So she said, when you think I can't hear you, I can. Brush my hair, paint my nails, hold my hand, play Neil Diamond. And that happened. There were a lot of times where I remember being by her bedside and holding her hand, and I had been talking to her and I was like, oh, I don't know. But I would go to pull away and she would squeeze my hand harder. And, as difficult and painful as that was, that's also something I hold very close to my heart. Yeah, so I know.
Give me chills.
Me too.
She's the source of my relationship and fearlessness with being able to hold this space for other people.
Right. Wow. That is beautiful. I remember the first time that you and I met, one of the things that you said when you were starting this was, I just knew that you were meant to do it and you knew it was just going to blow up. Tell me more about that.
I was getting in my own head. I was coming from a place of fear and questioning why would I want to do this? This is, other people think this is weird. And I really leaned, after being able to create that space for myself to kind of flounder for a while and really second guess myself, I was like, okay, now it's time. I'm just going to do it, because meantime, I have all this information and strength I can be offering other people, and they're not able to get to me because I'm not putting myself out there. So I really had to make it less about me and more about my mission and my calling. Just take myself out of it. Like, this is what I love to do, what I love to talk about, and hopefully my gift to my community.
That's so important. I feel like you're the same way too, and I guess myself as well.
Yeah.
Like there have been a lot of times where we've held back and didn't put ourselves out there because we might have been fearful of what other people thought. But everything you want is on the other side of that fear.
Yeah.
And so it's super important. It's awesome that you did that.
One
And
thing
you too.
Yeah. Thank you. One thing you said to me is like it's I don't know if you said like this specifically, but it's more than you, right? The need
Right.
is out there. And to your point, if you don't put yourself out there and give your gift, you know, people won't be able to have it.
Yes, that's true. And I was fearful of, you know, I see how great the need is and the desire for people to have a space where this conversation can be held because it's rather taboo.
Yeah.
And I was like, gee, there's just going to be an influx of phone calls and people needing me, and I'm one person, and I don't know if I have the bandwidth for that. And so I just had to, again, do that, make space for myself, get myself out of it. And honestly, you know, because I didn't feel like I had other death doulas I could call on, like I had no other connections with people.
Yeah.
And so, but by me kind of doing that self-talk and that cheerleading, put myself out there, I now have those connections. I found more of my doula village locally that I can hopefully build those relationships with. That way, when I have folks that I, you know, am not otherwise able to serve due to time or whatnot, you know, I'm able to say, hey, I have this other wonderful person that can help you with this really special time.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
What would you say is a time commitment for yourself for being a death doula each week?
You know, it varies. Right now, I spend a lot of time. Geez, I guess I haven't thought about it. But with doing my networking and my website and my Instagram, my LinkedIn, and finding events, probably 20 hours a week. Probably 20 hours a week.
It'd be like sort of like a part-time job.
It really is. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes it's more. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, I got to catch my breath. You know, I have a family, a young child, another occupation that I work in. And so then there's weeks where I when I'm able to, and I don't have clients, I can just tap out and have a more quiet, more intentional week for myself where I can kind of rebuild up my resources.
That's great.
Super important to have.
Yeah.
And great awareness. I'm just so intrigued by all of this. We were just talking before this too about how you're there for individuals, not just families in their end of life.
Yes.
I would love to learn more about that because again, it's a taboo topic. So, I'm never going to die, right?
Yes.
There's that mentality.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear. Just tell me all of it.
Yeah. So, I help families. I help corporations, you know, businesses better their HR policies around grief. And
Wow.
really,
Yeah.
I hope to touch everybody in this, but with individuals, often it can be my family doesn't want to have these conversations because it's kind of rooted in superstition. If you say, oh, when I die or if I die, I mean, we're all going to die.
Right.
So, but they feel like that can bring death forward. And that's not the case. Not talking about it creates more fear.
Yeah.
And the more you talk about it, the more you take away the fear and you get power in return.
And plan for it.
And you plan for it. And so, you know, I'll get people who are just like, hey, I'm 85 and this is just something I know is coming for me eventually. And I want to take my action steps now. Like, what do I do? This feels very overwhelming. And I give them the things and we meet multiple times. We can go over advanced care planning. We can go over where and how you want to die, what measures you do and don't want for interventions, your body disposition. Where do you want to be? Like, do you want to be cremated, buried? Do you want to be made into beautiful pieces of the coral reef that can be in the ocean? Into fireworks, diamonds, I mean, you name it, we can probably do it now. So that can be really empowering. Do you want to plan your funeral? Let's do that. Let's write out your obituary. Who do you not want at your funeral? When you're dying at home, who do you want to just pop by for 15 minutes a week because that's all the space you can hold for them at that time?
Right.
Wow.
So all of that.
Yeah, it's not as simple as
No.
1, 2, 3.
No, there's a whole world. There's a whole death world, right? And our whole life, we don't talk about it. Maybe if we think about it, it's a private thought, right? So being able to just sit at a table with someone and have them ask questions or just say things, put their feelings out there, I can hold that space for them. I can challenge their thought. I can help them come up with plans on how to reach out to their families and say, start to like pick away slowly at, listen, I know you are uncomfortable with this subject, but I love you so much and I've seen what happens when we don't do these things.
Yeah.
And I want to give you this gift of it's already. And it will make me feel better. And often people are like, thank you.
Oh,
yes,
I
have a family.
Yeah.
I have a job. I have we're spread so thin. So especially with the sandwich generation, right? With having young children and caring for older parents, aging parents, our time is limited. And if we can do the planning now, it's such a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So much of what you just said overlaps so much with the work that I do. Like just that taboo conversation that people are afraid that, if they put some sort of protection planning in place for their family, that's going to bring upon death sooner. And it's like, no, that's like there are ways to utilize these things during your lifetime, but also a plan is so important.
It really is. And I mean, think about it. We have, health insurance, car insurance, home insurance, just all these just in case things. This is one of those
that rarely happen.
And it's like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So
it's inevitable.
So and death really used to be a community event, a community healing, and we've gotten away from our society just with our culture. We're now death phobic, we're aging phobic. So all of this is kind of rooted in that. So my goal is just to hold space and create conversation and connect people with resources so we can get back there.
It's huge. I'm thinking about when my grandma died, and that was just a huge blow, even though she had cancer, right? So we knew it was coming sooner. And like at her funeral, I wished that she was able to hear what people had to say, and just experience I don't think she realized like the amount of love that, she exuded and that she gave. And, I wish it wasn't so taboo. So, you said community. So why not before she dies, celebrate her life?
Oh, absolutely. That's one thing that's really a passion project of mine, is to really get the idea of living wakes out there.
Yeah.
Where you can do it at any time in your life and you can do it multiple times, whatever. Yeah. Nobody makes the rules. No. Also, like, do what you want. It's your life.
Yeah.
But let's say you're older and you're just like, okay, I'm ready. You could have a living wake. So yes, you can hear all the beautiful things said about you while you're still here. People can bring photos, songs. You can cook food, rent an Airbnb on the lake, make it a weekend, do family dinners, brunches, like play games. And honestly, it really helps people grieve.
Yeah.
Because you have that special time with those people. They unequivocally know how you feel about them because you intentionally created that space for them to tell you. And I just think that big sense of love and family carries people so far with the grieving process after people have died. And often the person that's going to be dying, they feel a sense of relief or maybe
peace,
some regrets, right? They can table some regrets. And peace.
Yeah.
Do you work with the families after?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do, with helping them, execute the funerals, the remembrances, even years out, going through grief, is something I help people navigate. That's really important because that does not go away ever.
Yeah.
And it's not supposed to because it's commemorative of the relationship that you had with the person. But I help people navigate the animal that is grief. And it's so different for every person. And 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 10 years looks different.
True.
And often when people lose pivotal people in their life-altering things can happen. That can be the point where you get knocked into, oh yeah, I'm going to die too. Now what? I haven't been living authentically. And then that opens up this whole rabbit hole. So yes.
Right.
We are all just connected in so many different ways.
Yeah. One thing I thought about was too, like, it kind of gives you a way to, bring them flowers per se before their funeral. Like that to me means so much. And like, I personally wouldn't want someone that's going to come to my funeral and just give me flowers then. Like, that's not indicative of our relationship during our life. You know what I mean? So whether it's actual flowers or not, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everyone's wants and needs are different and they should be expressed rather than it's like their next of kin kind of making it for them.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Right. There's so many different personal beliefs and values and communities that really need extra support navigating some landscapes with family and issues. And I take great pride and care with helping those individuals because it's their death. It's their death, and it needs to be authentic to them or else it's not honoring them as a person. Yeah.
I think one of the first things that we had talked about around death, I think you asked me what my thought of death was.
I did.
This was before we knew you, both of us. And I just had said like, well, I think people aren't really afraid of it. They're kind of just afraid of the change that is going to happen to themselves over time. Like every new person that passes away or you lose that relationship can feel like death.
Yes.
Grief, especially. And it's just a matter of how is that going to affect me change-wise? Like nobody likes change. It's uncomfortable.
And I think that's where you come in then because
help mitigate that change a little bit.
So it's not only the change, but it's also like the abrupt change and the lack of planning for it, and talking about all the different aspects. Like just again, bringing it back to my grandma, like that was just devastating to like not have her in our life. But it was also, she had cancer. Let's not talk about it. She's going to the hospital. My mom said, don't come, and in hindsight, I wish that I would have not listened to her.
Right.
She was trying to protect me, right?
Sure.
And I don't want you to remember grandma at that time, but that is a regret of mine.
Right. And your grandma probably wanted you to see her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and you were trying to honor your mom. And so that's very complicated. That's a lot of pressure to put on you to figure out which lane to go with. So that's very, very difficult. I'm sorry about that. But
appreciate that acknowledgement.
Yeah. That's really hard. That's really hard. And, you have decades of memories with these people, right? And often at the most pivotal points in your life, right? Like graduation, marriage, children, whatever. And that's what you're going to remember. That's what you're going to remember.
And how they treated you too.
Yes.
It's like the biggest thing.
Yes.
Events and memories and things you did together and how they treated you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I encourage people like, don't be scared. If the people want their family to come in and see them, great. If they say, and have these conversations before.
Yes. Right.
If maybe they're a private person, and that's okay too. Maybe just a quick hello, goodbye, love you, and then create some space. I mean, often it is not uncommon for people to die when their person leaves the room. They will wait. And that can be really hard because then the people beat themselves up like, if I just didn't go get that cup of coffee or go to the restroom.
Yeah.
But honestly, they knew.
But on the other side.
They knew.
Yes.
They knew and they waited until sometimes being there is harder for them to let go. So they wait for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And don't beat yourself up about anything you did or didn't do in the past ever. Those people know.
Yeah.
People know.
She's around. She's around me all the time. Like I genuinely feel that. So, I don't have too much resentment. But hearing you talk about that, when you can talk about the death beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting both parties' needs met. Because,
Mhm.
I'm hearing one person who's dying might not want people around,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe for closure, those other people need and want that. So
Yes.
it's having that conversation. And,
Absolutely. It empowers and helps all people in this situation differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not bad. That's good. And I think just having honest conversations can just really be honoring to the real person, but also the relationship, right? And
Right.
I think just because something's really uncomfortable or hard doesn't mean it's not important or that you shouldn't do it. In fact, it's the opposite. It means you really, it's
Should
imperative.
go after it.
Yeah.
It's imperative.
Yeah. Lean into that.
Yeah. And I think the people, people with their families now, people with children, you can affect that now. You can start to affect our culture and be that change with the death awareness,
Yes.
death positivity, however you want to look at it.
Yes.
You can create that now.
Yeah. That's very true. My daughter has said, Mom, I'm scared of dying, like randomly, before she goes to bed. And I think it's important to, like you keep saying, honor that space, hold that space for her, let's just talk about it. Whereas I feel like, in the past, it would have been like shut down from any adult in my life. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I could see that. I'd be like, oh, don't worry about that. Like, you're young. Well, that creates, if you say something like that, well, then they're like, okay, so only old people die. So then when someone young in their lives die,
Right.
Or when you say, oh, they're sick. Well, they're like, oh, well, when I get sick with something from school, that means I could die. And just so language is incredibly important to be selective. Be very intentional with the words you use, but also, just honoring children's feelings because often they get really missed and overlooked in like grief space and just the topic of death.
And if we're not comfortable with it as adults, then of course we're going to be like, oh, we don't really want to talk about it. So it's also being comfortable, having awareness.
Yeah, you're modeling at birth their relationship with death.
Ooh.
Which is, it's a lot of pressure. It is. But also, flip side to that is that's also really exciting.
Yeah.
Because if you grew up with having, it's like, shh, don't talk about it. Don't say the word. It's like now, like, cool. Like I get to be the disruptor and empower my child to be able to maybe one day help other kids or then adults, right? Not be freaked out by going to a funeral.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
wow.
And also, like, going off that, I just want to say, like, often in the mom groups on Facebook, also you see people say, okay, should I let my 7-year-old go to their grandparents' funeral? I'm not sure if that's appropriate. And really, there's no wrong answer. It's what you feel is appropriate, but also, your child.
Yeah.
And just think about it. They're going to have a lot of unmet needs and feelings and questions, and it's going to create more mystery around death. And that your children are obviously a part of the family, so don't leave them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have that conversation too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. It's a testament to you too in your household that you can have those conversations.
Well, now I think I've swung the opposite way and I talk about everything.
That's
I don't
great.
Just doesn't stop talking about stuff.
My kids are like, Mom.
But that's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So, what does living in alignment or living intentionally mean to you?
Living intentionally to me has changed over the years. Now I see that with our time here is finite. And if something doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it. And if, the people I'm around aren't, bringing me happiness or having it be a two-way street here, then yeah, that's out of alignment. So I've done a lot of like checking of the people and how I spend my time, and also thinking about, not putting so much pressure on myself to find happiness, but just make sure I'm really bringing in and surrounding myself with things or people that bring joy to me naturally.
Yeah.
So it isn't so much
cool.
pressure on having to make myself happy.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, I'm around people who naturally I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so happy I go get to see them.
Mhm.
Or, you know, I have 4 pets. That's a lot. It's a little ridiculous, but like they bring joy
You're
to
pretty
me.
close, aren't you?
You know?
Yes.
So
Out the
yeah.
zoo. Was there a point in your life where you kind of had this moment of, I'm not living in alignment, I'm not living intentionally?
Yeah. Yeah. After I had my son, who's now, he's going to be 6 in July, it really knocked me on my butt, I guess, becoming a mom during COVID as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really weird time. But also, I'm like, something doesn't feel right. Every day kind of felt like a really bad version of Groundhog Day. And I'm like, this can't be it. This can't be
Life.
this. No.
This is all it's to life.
What am I doing
Yeah.
wrong? What are my choices? And so I was feeling kind of like a stranger to myself. So somehow I found my meditation teacher, who I adore, David G. I stumbled on Insight Timer one day, did a free meditation, and it just clicked. I'd never been able to meditate before, ever. But he's a really beautiful man. He's like Jerry Garcia and Santa had a baby. And I just love him. And anyway, it just clicked. So I took his meditation training to be a teacher to help myself and help my son just kind of
cool.
align our energy. I didn't really do it to mean to be a teacher. But I would have to submit these weekly meditations for homework, me guiding people through meditations. And watching it back, I don't know why I watched it back, but I did. And it was painful, very painful. I didn't know who that was that I was looking at. And it's difficult to describe how much of a empty rock bottom feeling that was by being like, and then you look back on all your choices. And you're like, where did I go? Where did I leave me? I forgot to plug me back in.
Yeah.
And that I just went down a rabbit hole of, trying to do an inventory of my life and my choices to find myself again. But I was small. I was a small person.
Well, society makes sure you stay there too,
Yes.
So you did like video recordings for the meditation?
I did. Yeah. I did video recordings, and just basically it was, can you guide someone through meditation? And I felt like I was small and that being seen was dangerous, not safe. And it took me a while. It took me months to kind of process that, allow that space. Also to be able to articulate that to my partner of almost 19 years, being like, what is going on with me? And it was a really hard time, but I wouldn't change it for the world, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here because that made me create space for myself to figure out how to create a life that is aligned and supported on all angles.
Do you think the death doula thing, like not living with regrets, is that kind of also all connected in that time that you learned?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to look back and not have done the thing, even though I was like, well, this is silly or this is stupid. Well, so what? I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, because people on their deathbeds, they do have regrets. Even before they're on their deathbed, they'll be older and be like, wow, I'm 90 now, and I always wanted to live in Europe. I never did. Or I always wanted to take a cooking class, or I always wanted to be an artist and I was too afraid, or someone said I wasn't good. And just, that's, do it now.
Yeah.
Do it now. No one makes the rules.
Right.
Have you been able to kind of dive into your feelings with the past of not wanting to be seen and things like that, be heard?
Yes. Yeah. And that was difficult as well. Very important work. I guess I would say it's kind of breaking that generational trauma that gets talked about. But yeah, I grew up in a very abusive household. And it's funny, I didn't realize that until I was older, 30. You know, I was like, oh, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Stuff being thrown and yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So being in an abusive household, the way I had to survive was to be small, unseen, not going to be heard, essentially have no needs. And so I also didn't realize until I did this exact work that I didn't really know what joy felt like or anger. I was kind of flat. And that was very difficult to process. Like, I'm a mom, I'm 35, and I don't know how to get enraged. Like, you know, so all of it just came back to I had been put in a cage and kept small.
Yeah.
And so I had to like refine myself again
Right.
and plug that in. And I'm so grateful. I mean, I really, if I didn't have my son, I'm not sure I would have gotten that opportunity to do that hard work. You know, people say we're teachers for our children, but no, he's my biggest teacher, my son. He holds that mirror up big, and sometimes it's ugly.
That and just your personal relationships, I feel like, you know, they're going to mirror you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's your choice whether or not you want to look at it and listen. But yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I can agree with that completely.
Yeah. And, you know, and at that time too, I was like, oh, I don't have any boundaries. That's dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
Not healthy, not sustainable. I mean, that shows up in really unhealthy ways with your health and stress. And so I had to do a deep dive inventory in my whole life, including the relationships, family.
Yeah.
You know, here are my boundaries. This makes me sad. This makes me happy. And if, you know, with some training, they can't honor that, essentially respect me, then
Right.
we're just not meant to be right now. Maybe we'll reconnect later when perhaps you've done some work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inner reflections.
Yeah.
And everybody has to do it on their own time, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it
Yeah.
came
Like it
to you
didn't-
at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch people in that place
Yeah.
that you're coming from. You're like, oh, okay,
Like I
I
was
see
there,
you're
yeah.
there. But it makes it also easier to honor that and be like, okay, I can't, you're not ready.
Yeah.
I can't make you do that. But I see and I appreciate where you are. Hopefully you'll get to where I am now.
Right.
And there's just, unfortunately, some people that never will. And
Absolutely.
that's difficult too. And you just have, and that's a personal like
Yes.
realization that you have to come to.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
then you have that boundary set. So
Right.
in
And
theory, you should be okay.
yeah. And when you see like, okay, I have a hole here in my life, a hole there, like you can make your village. And it's really hard. Like it doesn't come with a village anymore. Families, having children, it doesn't. It's hard to find your village, but let me tell you, when you start really tapping into yourself and living authentically, you will find your village, and you're probably going to find it in the least, the place you least expect it.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because I've been talking about networking and how I have met like core wonderful humans that that are like my jam. Like, I mean, I would have never met you had I not like, and same with you, for sure not with you, because just
Probably wouldn't have crossed paths.
yeah. And it's all like meant to be. And I, you know, we're taught family is everything, but there's a line and there's an understanding that you have to go through and a process, like a mourning process of, oh, wait, I thought it was supposed to be one way or it was going to be one way. And then it shifts.
Yes.
So
Back to that change.
Yeah.
So the old blueprint that you had for yourself, whether it was a belief or identity or even habits, can you describe a little bit of how you were operating during that time? Like what were your inner thoughts and actions and beliefs towards yourself?
Yeah, my inner blueprint was just be small, be quiet, don't have needs, don't rock the boat, right? Keep it small. So whether it would be something insignificant perhaps, but you know, like, hey, I only like cheesecake. I really don't have a sweet tooth. Honestly, I only like cheesecake. And so for my 30th birthday, bring like a chocolate 3-layer cake, okay. I would just be like, okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You've known me my whole life. In fact, you gave birth to me. But thank you,
Yeah.
So just things like that. I would allow all of that intentional invalidation of what I like or about what my rules or boundaries are. Or, I wasn't allowed to have any peace. Nothing was safe. Anything I protected, or even in moments where I would feel joyful or happy or be trying to get there, and I was unburdened in that moment, a burden would plop in my lap. And I allowed all of that. And it took a lot of uncomfortable reflection to be like, well, I'm allowing this behavior. Have I said no, or please stop, or I don't like this, or, so I really had to grow into my own shoes, I guess. Yeah.
I just had a thought about potentially like the unknown, right? Like you never knew kind of what was going to happen, maybe walking on eggshells type of thing. Do you think that played a role in your certainty towards knowing that death was going to happen and being able to kind of bring yourself into that space because that is a certainty?
Oh, for sure. I think coming from an abusive household and having to conduct myself on eggshells, even as an adult within that family sphere, I'm really comfortable with the uncomfortable. I can, unfortunately, I've worked a lot of my hypervigilance and my nervous system, and I do all of those things, but you can't unlearn some of the things. And so you just also have to have body awareness, be like, why am I brushing my teeth with my fist clenched? And, just be like, oh, what's going on? And just being curious about my body. But I was programmed to not be in my body, right? And to be out here. And so that's also been something I've worked on. But being uncomfortable with that uncomfortableness or danger or the tenseness of it, I can hold that.
Like the relatability of you being out of your body to actual death, like being out of your body, just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy, but a cool way that you're changing that habit and that belief to yourself into something that's helping people.
Yeah, I think everybody has some superpowers. And I think when you do some dirty work and you make peace with it as best as you can, you really can harness some power from it. So maybe this is my superpower.
Yeah, absolutely. And that pattern that you had for yourself once served you in a certain way. When did you realize that it wasn't serving you anymore?
Yeah, so it really was when I did see myself in those meditation videos. I just thought, well, I can't live like this. I felt really gutted, and I can't be a stranger in my own life. That's not good for me. That's not fulfilling. I really love my partner. I now have a child who I love, and I will never ask anything of him that I wouldn't do or I'm not doing myself. And so I was like, okay, here we go, and just honoring and validating my feelings, holding that space for myself to kind of be a mess at times, really, in order to get back on the track, my path, I guess. Yeah, that's really...
And make a choice to change and be that person.
Yeah, which was hard. It's hard and ugly. And, but yeah, I would hope the same thing for him if that ever fell in his lap where he found himself there, that he could do the same thing.
I think it's a gift. It's like a gift you can give to your kids to break the generational trauma.
Oh, yeah. I grew up with people who would never apologize or say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or, oh, I'm sorry, this, no.
Yeah.
So very, very much at home, mommy and daddy make mistakes. Mommy and daddy can have really hard days.
Yes.
Mommy and daddy cannot be expressing ourselves the way we should be.
Yeah.
Here's a healthier option. And so that whole thing we model really hard at home.
That's huge.
The one thing I will never do is I felt like my light was kind of taken away from me at one point in my life. And that's something I'll never do to him. I'll never tame him or take his light. I can already see who he is so much as a person, and it's wild, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love that the most about him. And so that's the one thing, if I can do, is just let him be himself.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another thought that comes to mind is like with that, past perceived voids create present perceived values. And that's exactly like what you're doing with your internal life at home, but also in your work, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good that you've recognized that and then turned it into something good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing. I'm stubborn, I guess. You know, my family's Irish. We're stubborn, determined.
No, we're not.
And when you say I can't do something, or if I can sense like, oh, people are thinking she's not going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it again. And I try to use that as a pro and not a con. Yeah.
I love that. I definitely relate on the stubborn side, like with some of my family members.
Yep.
Irish and Italian.
Oh, okay.
So you know how that is.
Yes.
But that's awesome. So what does your new blueprint look like today? If you had to summarize it, what like internally with your identity, habits, beliefs, thoughts, all that.
Yeah. So I think my new blueprint now is perhaps a little unpopular, but I tell you, when you start living it, it's really wonderful. If I look at things like I get to do things, or I want to do things, but if I don't want to do those things, I don't do them. And it kind of sounds a little like, oh, a little selfish, or I mean, I don't want to pay my tax. I'm going to pay my taxes. Like, I mean, come on. But I mean, you know, there's this event, and I don't really want to go. It doesn't feel aligned. It's not going to bring me joy. I'm not going to feel elevated leaving there.
Talk about that a lot.
Not going to go.
Yes.
Not going to go.
Yep.
Because it's then like, okay, I'm hearing this should in my brain. I'm like, well, then no.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I start to hear the shoulds, I'm like, no.
Right.
Nope.
It's not a hell yes, and it's a hell no.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
like, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to be in the rat race of life, and then it goes by, right?
Right.
Sometimes we can be the creator of our own chaos, and so I tried really hard to take an inventory on that, and I want a peaceful, calm, as easy and supported life as possible, right? And so if I'm contributing to some sort of chaos by going to these things or doing these things in my life that don't feel aligned, and I don't feel like I get to or I want to, then, you know, then I'm responsible. And so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to try.
I love that.
I was just going to say, what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck between who they were and who they're becoming?
Yeah. I would say congratulations to you, because that takes a lot of self-awareness to realize that. And that's unpopular. And things are going to get ugly because you're going to maybe go through some deconstruction. But then you will hopefully find yourself, find some choice, and then you get to create your life. You are the creator of your life. Yes, there's circumstances, but beyond that, like, look for the way.
Yeah.
Look for the way, because there is.
Yeah. And listen to your body. I'm here like that.
Yeah. Listen to your body, be in your body. And, you know, with getting into the field of death care, there was a while where I was like, why am I doing this? Why? And I couldn't find my reason. And the better question is, why not? Why not? You know, I'll go to a calligraphy class. I'll go to a cookie baking class, a jewelry making class. I'm taking ballet classes. Why not? You know, and the number one fear is death. Second to like public speaking and dancing. So I've done all of those things, except die yet. I will one day. But I'm dancing, I'm doing public speaking, and just like, why not? Why not? You know, you can. You can. And there's that like uncomfortable tension in life, and just follow that. There's a yay uncomfortable tension, and then there's a nay. And the yay uncomfortable tension, I just like to call like the life force. Like that's you fully plugged into life and doing the thing.
Love that too. I'm curious to know how your inner work has shaped your relationship with money.
Yeah, it really has, because being small, being unseen, not being of value, you know, stems from my upbringing and all the deconstruction I had to do around that. And I just feel now, after doing that work, there has to be an exchange, right? Because if I were to do death work free forever in all aspects, I'm going to get burnt out. And there aren't enough people carrying this torch. So I have to make it sustainable for myself. And there needs to be an energetic exchange so people don't feel like they're taking advantage of me or I'm getting burnt out. And so just money has to be a part of it, you know. And with my funds, I bake in being able to serve other populations and causes into that. And I create a community fund with that extra. And sometimes others can't tap into that, and that's okay. That's what it's there for, you know.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, money...
It allows you to serve better, too.
Absolutely, it does. It does. It allows me to kind of fully do my mission and, you know, continue my education and my initiatives. And yeah, I historically in my life, I'd see people get money and then they lose themselves, or they use money to perhaps have less valuable relationships, but still get like gifts and things like that. And just, so I had to do a lot of that too. Like, where does this come from? Where does this icky thing around money itself, not just about me, come from? And so I had to do a lot of healing with that too. And you can do it. And you should.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's like just the perception of what you think money is for other people, or like rich people, they're evil or whatever it is. But whoever you are before the money is going to be exactly who you are after the money. It's just going to amplify whatever that is.
Right.
And so kudos to you in discovering those traits that you might have had that you didn't know of at first until you came into, you know, receiving money for your services and your value that you've provided.
Right.
But it also should feel like a pat on the back, like, oh, I did something well and I'm helping out a family and an individual, and like I'm good at what I do and I get rewarded appropriately for it.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, if I wasn't being paid well in this space, I would have to work 40 hours in the death space. And man, often you only have the bandwidth for maybe 20 of those hours. And then you have to do all of that recharging and being off and self-care. And that can be expensive. But it's a relationship. And yeah, it's there's always doors opening about what you need to work on next. And
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's life.
That's life, yeah. What's a belief that you used to have that you no longer agree with? I'm sure there's a few, but...
Yeah. So I think it was around just being uncomfortable. You know, being uncomfortable means it's bad. Don't do it. You shouldn't do it. It's not your
safe.
thing. Yeah, it's not safe. Exactly. Like, man, I love Asian food, but I didn't have that until I was 20 years old. But, you know, I love Asian food now. And so it's like, oh, I would never do that. Or, oh, that's not me. I don't like that. Well, when's the last time you tried it or did it or experienced it? And just, I think, let go of this really deep narrative you have of yourself, of often who people tell you are and what you do and don't like, right? And just try it again. And, you know, that's something I instill in my son. The food analogy is with food. He's like, yeah, you're right, Mom. I'll try it. If I don't like it, I just spit it out. But if I like it, guess what? More food for me. And so that's kind of essentially how I view life in a nutshell, is like, I just want to try and do it all.
Experience.
Because then I can have more. And I would not say I'm an adventurous person. I'm actually not. but I put myself out there to see if there's more that I want to like and want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like adventure to me. Maybe that's your definition versus like
Yeah.
Right.
societies or whatever. But
Yeah.
oh, that's amazing. I'm very intrigued with the Swedish death cleaning
Yeah.
topic. Can you go into that?
Sure.
Because I'm not really familiar with it.
Absolutely. That was popularized by a book called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, which I do recommend that book. But really, it's a Scandinavian way of life. Most Scandinavian folks don't know the term Swedish death cleaning because that's just a way of life within their culture.
Okay.
And it's not about minimalism. It's just about being intentional with your space, because the less you have and the more intentional you are with your space, the more things can come in. If your life is full, if your space is full with things that aren't aligned or have value to you, it's cluttered, it's messy, and you're probably always scanning your room being like, oh, I got to do this and blah, blah, blah. And so it creates this like solid peace within your space at all times. So, kind of pivoting that lens to Swedish death cleaning, when you're trying to get your home aligned or you're older or maybe you're terminal, you can go through your space now, because when you die, if your space is cluttered and crazy, it's quite a bear to go through your space. You're in grief. You're trying to, a tube of toothpaste then might seem very sentimental and needed to hold. So it's very difficult. So I encourage folks to, at any point in your life, as soon as possible, try to live in your spaces this way. But if your house has gotten away from you, walk around your house, start with the least sentimental, easy space, like your junk drawer. Everybody has a junk drawer. Go through it, get rid of your stuff. Go through your sock drawer, get rid of those socks that have the gnarly holes in them.
I just did that. I got rid of like all of my clothes within the past couple of weeks.
Wow.
Like probably 3/4 of all my clothes that just don't fit or I haven't worn them. So that felt really nice, but also I donated it. So that felt good.
Yeah.
Right.
Brought it somewhere and now someone else is getting more use out of it.
Absolutely.
And I have more space and
Yeah.
it was cleaner.
Yeah.
Neat.
And, people have things that have value and memories, but if you die, a lot of people don't know what those are. They're like, oh, what is that beautiful vase over there? I have no idea. Well, maybe your grandmother got it on a trip on their honeymoon to Italy with their grandfather, and he spent a month's salary on it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's document that now. Let's take a picture of all of those things that are special. Photograph them, put them in a binder. What's the story? Who do you want to have them? Maybe give it to them now if you don't need it. That could be a really special moment.
Right.
But yeah, go through your stuff.
It's so like inspirational too, though, because what happened after I went through my stuff, I left a couple bags for my mom to look through. Like, see if you like anything, because she just likes my style. And she's like, I grabbed like 3 bags of stuff from your house or whatever. And then she texted me later and she's like, I just went through my closet and I went through 6 bags of stuff that I'm donating. And I'm like, see, there you go. Just pass the torch on a little.
Yeah.
Creates good momentum.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that felt nice. But on a final note, what would be, if you had to leave the audience with something that, advice or one important thing around death in itself or being a death doula, what would that be?
There's a lot of free resources out there. A lot of people think when I start to examine death, it's going to cost me money. And it's not true. There are a lot of things that you can do yourself to protect yourself that are free and online, and perhaps get them notarized and get people copies. And I think if I could have a second thing, if
you can, it's going to cost you. No, I'm just kidding.
Is if you're like, ooh, death, and you like kind of get that drawback feeling, and explore that. Don't be afraid of that. Explore it, because you can challenge it. And I guarantee you it'll be really rewarding when you do.
Yeah.
Whether you maybe meditate on it, just take a hot shower and maybe visualize, whatever you got to do to tap into being curious about your feeling and turning that on its head into something empowering and liberating, you can do it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
This was so inspirational.
Yeah, this conversation was great, and I'm excited to share it with everyone I know. If our folks were looking to follow you on social media, what are your handles for, or website?
Sure. So my website is www.deathliteracydoula.com, and my Instagram tag handle is Death Literacy Doula.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed this episode and or Jessica Catlin, check her out, find her, follow her, like, subscribe, everything for her as well. This is how we level up. This is what we do. We meet people, we talk. Remember, your journey to empowered abundance continues on the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Vibe and Shine podcast. Keep shining bright.